Right, well, we're up on Dartmoor. I'll give you a bit more where we are in a sec, although some of you will probably recognise this area. But I've just got Lassie with me here, and I just wanted to try and do a tiny bit of film as we walk through this sheep of fields and see how we get on. We've been doing a little bit of sheep work, just us, you know, getting used to sheep. This way. So yeah, so we'll just see how we get on through here. At the moment, as you can see, she's there, and the sheep are all over that way. My first camp or walk camp this evening since my hernia operation about just over 4 weeks ago. So because they said it was quite a big one, they said to give it about 4 weeks. Right, so we're just clearing this field, not quite literally of sheep. So we've got one more field dead ahead. Lassie, stay close. So we've just got to get through here, and then there's a gate up the top. So she's looking back, keeping an eye on me, pretty much. We're on the Southmoor. Came down to Southmoor because they're firing on the Northmoor today, and the weather, the forecast for yesterday was so poor that it just seemed better to wait today, and then so the forecast looked better for today. Doesn't look very good for tomorrow, but I'll be heading off tomorrow. It doesn't really matter what it's like on the day you're heading back. Well, this is the Yelm River. I crossed here last summer sometime with Keith Foskett, and I flew the Phantom up and down here. I haven't brought the Phantom today to try and keep the weight down a bit, although having brought the Akto, I'm not sure that has kept the weight down. So we've just crossed here. I came across this stone here, which is a little bit steep, but plenty of grip across there. Jumped over onto this stone here, which actually was a bit wobbly, so be a bit careful on that one. But it was a fairly easy way to cross, and obviously Lassie is particularly enjoying the river here. Right, Lassie is digging for some stupid reason. This is the second time I forgot to put the mic on. How stupid is that? Anyway, I've just put the mic on, yeah. So Lassie is now digging to Australia, making a right mess of herself there. She's got to dry out before we get into camp. It's been very, very wet, this little crossing here. So I've got my Innovate 150s on, and then I've got my usual three layer of socks underneath, 2 liner socks, synthetic Coolmax, and then a merino liner sock, and then a sealskin sock to help keep my foot dry. o'clock-ish. So, as I say, we're heading in that direction there. Better get going because Lassie is just fixated on digging here at the moment. This is near the head of the River So the head of the River is just literally around there. And this is Lassie. She likes digging. She's obviously found something to dig there. I'm going to have to give her something to chew in a minute. But anyway, I found quite a nice pitch area here. Just literally around here. This bit here looks quite flat. I'm thinking of stopping here. I tried to show this area to Keith Foskett last summer when we did this walk with him. But unfortunately, I couldn't find this spot. I'd seen it a few months before last year, but I think when we joined the River we joined further down, so we ended up missing it. So I'm going to pitch the tent. I've actually had another fit. As you can see, I've bought something from the Hilleberg stables, which I bought from Ray Mears, who had it on a very, very good discount. Right, well, I've pitched the Akto. I've put the door around here. You'll see holes here, 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 there, there. Everywhere. She's now digging holes in the little sort of streamy thing there. Yeah, so I've pitched it this way around because the wind earlier was coming in this direction towards the camera, and as I tend to leave the door open, it obviously made more sense to have the wind going in that direction, not. Of course, if the wind changes direction or it rains, and if the forecast is for rain during the night or in the morning, then of course it's just a matter of closing the outer door. I'll probably leave the inner door open. Now, I've pitched this once before, so this is only the second time that I've actually pitched this. So when I did a trial pitch at Cheddar, I've not slept in it before, this is my first night out in it. Obviously my head will be up there. Most people will sleep in these shelters. I think most people are right-handed and tend to sleep with their head up this end. But of course, because I'm cack-handed, I sleep with my head down there. So my feet obviously will be up here. So Lassie will have to go into this area here, hopefully. That will be the interesting thing. And then obviously I'll have to cook somewhere either this side of that bit of string, obviously being careful with that string, or just the other side. And then once I've emptied my pack, I can probably put my pack right up at the back, but again we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. You're probably wondering why I got this. This isn't a departure from my beloved Mountain Laurel Designs Trailstar or Supermed. It's just something different. I just wanted to try something different. I've had a few people, through the videos ask about tents, what the difference is and that sort of thing. Well, I've never really slept in, well, obviously the Namaj 3 GT a couple of months ago, but that's obviously a monster. So it'll be interesting to compare that to this. Not that you can compare a one-person tent to a three-person GT, but it'll be interesting to compare them. The main reason why I got this was for winter use. I'm thinking if I'm in snow, whether I do or not is a completely different matter. But if it's snowing, I've heard that spindrift can get underneath and through vents and that sort of thing. And I've just heard from Chris Townsend that if it is snowing, it's not a bad idea to have an inner to protect yourself from spindrift of snow. So that was really where the idea came from. Obviously I've not got it out this winter. Talking about the tent, mind you that as well. So, you know, I thought, as I've got it, you know, I may as well give it a go. So I'll just quickly bring you around camp. It's cooling off a little bit now, my hands are starting to cool. I've also been a bit of a naughty boy and bought a new pack. This is the ULA circuit. Again, I just wanted to try something different. You know, I will be using the mounted roll designs primarily, but again, it's just something to, so just something different to have a play around with, really. So that's the pack there, and then that's just the other side pitched there. You'll remember when I had the Nemesis 3 GT, there was quite a bit of condensation in it. Be interesting to see how things go here. That was near a stream as well, of course. We've got a stream just down here, of course, a river. So, you know, I'm in a condensation area. You just have to live with it. But I have opened up the back vent there, which you can see that's fully open. That was the one area, or the one mistake that I made with the Nemesis 3 GT. I did not open up the vents enough. And then of course that's the front or back, depending on which way you're looking at it. Anyway, both vents are open. So yes, in the Nemesis 3 GT, of course, I didn't really open many of the vents. So that of course caused a lot of condensation inside there. Let's have a look and see what Madam is up to. She's just getting herself absolutely filthy there. I'll have to get her out and wander her around so she dries off. She's not coming anywhere near the tent with that lot. Right, so I'm just going to put the inner stuff in now before my hands freeze. Right, I've just put some food out for Lassie, which is, as you can see, is eating. She's got herself in an absolute state. I should have got her out sooner from playing in that water. It's just where it's not bitterly freezing cold, but it is cold enough. So that was stupid. But she will dry off. I've put her on this long, rough wear extending lead. And then I always bring a MSR Blizzard peg with me, which I use if ever I need to dig a hole for the loo, or if I just need a spare peg, or for anything that could come in handy for. So I've tied her, wrapped her lead around that, so she can't get over to that water now. One of the things I do quite like about a tent, which quite honestly you can do just as easily in the trail style as well, but I quite like sort of taking my stuff out, you know, out of my bag. And obviously when you're in a tarp you have to be quite careful in how you put things down. One thing I quite like in a tent is you can sort of, you know, you can throw your stuff around, just throw it anywhere, and you know it's not gonna land outside. So I tend to be a bit more lackadaisical in how I sort of throw things around camp when I'm in a tent. Oh, well, so I just toss that around. Okay. It's the childish part in me coming out. I've brought my Thermarest ProLite Plus. I've had this for a couple of years, 2 or 3 years now. I think I've used it once or twice. It's the trouble when you've got a load of stuff, you tend not to use it as much, or you end up having favourites, which obviously I do. So really I thought this trip is a sort of an experiment of, you know, just all things different really. So we've still got, you know, mounted lower designs, you know, stuff sacks. But really everything else is, let's say I've got a ULA pack, Hilleberg Akto tent, And normally I would bring a different mat to this. I would bring a Thermarest X-Therm, most likely. But this time I thought I'd bring the ProLite Plus. And it's also a little bit thicker, the material. So again, I'm sort of thinking, if Lassie is in this area here, if for any reason she does have to come in, or she gets a bit too close, then obviously given the limited space that she's going to have here, you know, at least I've got something a little bit tougher to sleep on. So of course this is a self-inflating mat, although I'm sure I'll still have to put a couple of puffs into it. She's eaten all her food. I'll put more. I got 2 of these, and I don't know where I've put the other one at the moment. It's not here, it's at home somewhere. So I've got to find that. Oop. These just come off. So yeah, I better put some water out for her now. Now she can't get to the water. And I'll carry on making camp. I think all that needs to come out now. Oh. That's a pudding. That's a meal. I'm going to try a new meal, a beef and potato hot pot. Expedition Foods. Dave at the Gorge Outdoors gave me that one, so I just want to give it a try. He's thinking of stocking them, so I think I'm a bit of a guinea pig on that one. And again, I could just chuck the sleeping bag over there, keep it away from the self-inflating mat while that's supposed to be inflating. Yeah, so if he gets these in, I might get some more of those. I'll see how they compare to the fusion meals, which are the best. Well, I think anyway. So that's everything out of the pack. Water bottles there. I put in the side. Cup was in the side. Oh, fuel was in the side. And my MLD event mitts are in there. And I'll give Lassie some more food. Oh. And then it won't be too long before I start thinking about getting into bed, because even though I've got these on with sealskin socks, my feet are starting to get a bit on the cool side. I just thought of another very good reason as to why I bought the Hilleberg Akto. I said a few people have asked me about tents and things like that, which of course I have no experience with. So scrap the spindrift reason. I think that's completely immaterial. I am offering a public service whatever. I got it so the greater public can see how a camper uses a tent. Yes, I think that's an excellent excuse. Yes, I got it as a public service. Right, well, on that idea we'll cut that. Yes, excellent. Think that's a good idea, Lassie, public service? Right, I've just show you down. I've just taken my shoes and socks off. So, nice view of my feet. Someone asked me whether my feet get wrinkly when they get wet. A bit. Not too bad though. You're also probably wondering why I've got wet feet when I'm wearing sealskins, which I've put here, because sealskins are supposed to keep your feet dry. They leak. That's my socks up there. So there's 4 pairs of socks. I wear a liner sock system, or a layering sock system when it's cold. So yeah, the sealskin, you just have to accept that sealskin socks will leak pretty darn quickly, unfortunately. Mine always have. But I don't really worry about wet feet. Wet feet doesn't bother me. And the sealskin will act as a wind barrier. so it'll actually stop the cold from, the cold wind from blowing through. Although I have to say they're a bit nippy now, and I've been standing around out there for quite a while, so I'm just drying them off. I'm actually I only brought 2 towels today. I didn't think I'd need an extra one, so I've actually nicked lasses. I thought, I'll borrow lasses. I normally bring a very small one for myself, but I had a feeling that 2 would be enough, so I can use this one here. And then when Lassie comes in later on, I'm sure she's washing herself, or I can't remember what she's doing there at the moment. I think she's licking her paw. Yeah, licking her paw. What I've done is I've moved the peg sort of just inside here, and then I've put the ground sheet that I use here. Obviously it doesn't exactly fit, so I've just had to sort of lay it out roughly. Then I've put a piece of foam matting down here, so the idea is that she'll hopefully sleep on this area here. So she could end up being half out, but that's okay. She's she's got a very thick coat, but if perchance she starts to get cold or it rains, which I suspect it will rain, then obviously I just undo the clip there and zip the door up, and then she's inside and covered from wind and rain and everything then. So again, it's a little bit of an experiment. We humans didn't evolve or develop without a little bit of ingenuity and trying things out, says he. So I've just put her food and water there. I've collected water there and there from my shoes there. So as I say, that's pretty much me almost settled down. So I've just got to finish drying my feet off. I don't know what other people do when it comes to the loo, but by myself I tend to I tend not to actually get out, and I used to bring a bottle, but I haven't done that in ages now. I just tend to go, basically wherever there's grass, which seems to work okay actually. It might be a bit strange to some people, but it saves me having to get out of the sleeping bag. So again, it'll be interesting to see in this tight space how well that does or doesn't work. Again, when you're by yourself, you can get away with these sorts of things. So I'm going to finish drying my feet and then strip off. Don't get too excited, and then I'll hop into bed. And again, don't go getting too excited. Right. We can get excited if you want to, I don't mind. Oh, Lassie, I've got one track mind. Right, and then once I've dried my feet, I then put dry merino liner socks on, and then I've just taken my walking trousers off, and I think these are the North Face, just super lightweight leggings on, and it just gives a little bit of warmth, not a lot. It's mainly just to keep the inside of the sleeping bag warm, really. I just noticed for some bizarre reason the bottom of the left leg has black stitching and the bottom of the right leg has red stitching. Interesting, never noticed that before, and I've had them for yonks. So that's me now ready for bed. I've just obviously got the coats on still. I put my thermal jacket over the top of my waterproof jacket. If I'd have been wet, I'd have taken the waterproof jacket off, of course. Right, we're just coming up to 6 o'clock, and I've put some water on to boil. Lassie, as you can see, is still outside on guard. I've put my bit of foam matting, if you can't see, but I've put it under here, because one thing I do find with the ProLite Plus is it's quite thin, and I must have a very bony bottom or something, but I always find I'm grounding out under it on my hip. So I say if I just put that bit of foam under there, that just gives that little extra, you know, comfort under there. And I don't need it. I don't need that bit of foam anywhere else. So it's quite happy under there. It's handy putting it under, you know, here when I'm taking my shoes and socks off. And of course, if I'm out and about, it's handy for sitting on. But in camp, when it doesn't have a specific purpose, it can go under there and support my hips. Or add comfort anyway. Just thought I'd sit up. This is obviously the Akto, and my head is brushing the inside. So it's cosy in here, to say the least. I do much prefer, you know, more space. But as I say, it's a very interesting experience. It's almost like being in a coffin, but not quite. So, my pillow is. But, you know, I've got plenty of room up there when I'm not sitting up. And you've got a little bit of room to the side for putting a few bits and bobs down there. Well, I'm not really utilising that bit of space there. There's empty space almost. I've tended to put all my stuff back here. So I've got my hat, spare gloves. In fact, I've got too many hats. I didn't realise how many hats I'd got. I've completely gone mad on hats. I've got 1, 2, 3, and then I've got my balaclava somewhere, which I use for night time. So I really didn't need, I could have done without that one. That's my thick winter woolly hat. I could have done without that. And I could probably have done without that one as I had that one. So yeah, I went completely mad on hats. Gloves, 1, 2, 3. Again, could probably have done without these. I think, to be honest, these and then these light ones would have been plenty. But gloves is always worth having an extra pair anyway. But hats, yeah, I definitely went a bit mad on hats this time for some reason. But I have to say, it is very cosy and comfortable here. Just hear the brook bubbling away, or whatever brooks do. There's one sheep in the distance. Right, well, the time is 1:30, or about 1 o'clock in the morning, something around about there. I've closed the door just this minute and opened up the vent up here. Let's just point this towards me. Hopefully you can see something. The temperature has risen from about 2 degrees to about 6 degrees, and the air pressure is dropping. It was 1003.3. It's currently around about 1001.0 to 1000.8. It's just hovering around that point at the moment. So I was sleeping quite soundly, and I just heard some shaking going on behind me, so that woke me up. So I thought, well, if the pressure's dropping so much, and as rain is forecast in the next few hours, whether it happens or not is a different matter. But the one thing that I was concerned about was, of course, if it rained and I was still fast asleep, then I probably would have been fine in here, but of course Lassie there would have been exposed to the elements, so I mainly closed it just to make sure that she stayed protected and everything there. So that was the primary consideration on that one. I say it's definitely warmed up anyway. I've had to take off my fleece, so I've only got my t-shirt on now, and even then I'm a bit on the warm side. I did bring my full winter sleeping bag, which is rated about -21 Fahrenheit, because the forecast was for about 2 degrees or something like that, and I'm a very cold sleeper, but I think it was probably a bit of overkill. But I'd rather be on the warm side than on the cold side. Okay, well, good morning. It's 7:45. As usual, I got something in my eye. Sleep, I expect. Lassie has done a wander. She can't be fat. She's on the other end of the lead somewhere. Out there digging again, I think. I don't think you can quite see her. Lassie, what are you doing? Lassie! As you can see, the mists are well and truly in. You coming in? Lassie? Come on. Good girl, good girl, good girl, good girl. Now, don't get too close, otherwise you won't be in focus. You're probably too close there. The camera's misted up, I think. No, stay. Steady, steady. Yeah, I know. Oh, good girl. Hello. Come on, go back. Oh, good girl. Good girl. When you all over the back. A few people may be wondering, or may not be wondering, of course, why I went for the Akto over the Terra Nova Laser Comp and the... It's too early in the morning to remember these things. Or the Top 10 Scarp 1. And really, it primarily boiled down to not weight, because of course this is significantly heavier than both the other two. Unfortunately, you're getting steamed up. But space. And the porch here is bigger than the other two. So that was really what it boiled down to. And another tip that I picked up a while ago, if you've got soaking wet socks at night time, rather than just leaving them lying around where they're going to stay very, very cold when you put them on first thing, if you put them under your mat, obviously they'll be well away from your sleeping bag, but put them under your mat, and then a little bit of warmth will get into them, and then it's not quite so much of a shock when you go to put on, you know, your wet socks in the morning, because they're more just soggy. Nothing's actually coming out, but they're just soggy, that's all. So as I say, if you put them under your mat, then that helps as well. One thing I did notice, I might have to contact Innovator where I bought them from. The threading on the back of both of them has gone, and they've not had that much wear. Really, only around here, quite, a few times. So I maybe ought to make contact there. I don't know whether that's still a warranty issue or not, to be honest, or whether it's lightweight shoes and that happens. No, Lassie's digging again. Lassie! Right, we've just left the campsite, which of course you can't see in the mists over there somewhere. We've just crossed the valley that is Dry Lake, and then we're just heading towards Red Lake, I just thought I'd show you a little fauna, or is it flora? Anyway, frog spawn somewhere. Where are you? There you are. And there's quite a bit here actually. So there is some froggy activity. I don't know, the French have been here recently. Am I allowed to say that? Anyway, and there's Lassie playing with water again. As you see, this is a bridleway, so I'm going to follow the bridleway to Red Lake. Then I've got a couple of options at Red Lake. Either follow the bridleway up, or there might be a path following the stream or the river here. I'm not quite sure yet, but at least we do have a pretty good path here to follow for the moment anyway. I was going to keep Lassie on the medium springy line. I was thinking of the mist, but I've got quite good visibility and she never goes too far away that I'm not going to be able to see her in this. When she goes into the mist way over there, then we have got problems, and she's not staying anywhere near like close enough. But as long as she stays you know, reasonably within distance, then I can see her here anyway. Okay, well, I've just got back to the car. It took about two and a half hours to get back here. But mostly fairly easy going along that path, the track, which I think used to be a railway line when they were doing mining and things. This is Harford car park, and there's a pretty good car park. I think you'll find it pretty secure here, hopefully. There's a few other cars here. One thing I tried a little bit different was this pack. I'm using a different camera and a slightly different lens, so I don't know what the quality would be like. Should be at least the same, hopefully somewhat better. But I've just been using this pack for a change with a strap. I may have to get a slightly different pack to get it in another time, but it worked okay. This is a Think Tank speed changer, but I'm wondering whether using it on a belt might actually be better. So that's something to think on. But I just wanted to, you know, thank you. I think the lens has misted up again. So misty and everything. But I just want to thank you for watching, and we'll, you know, catch you all again soon. Take care. Bye.